Hello out there, YouTube community and car enthusiasts alike that happen to stumble across some of my videos. Today's video, we're going to talk about spark plugs and automotive ignition systems. They've definitely advanced over the years since I was born in 1980. When I was born in 80, most engines still utilized a distributor, had a wire from the distributor to the spark plug, and so on. Automotive engineers have found that building an ignition coil that is directly over top the spark plug on newer engines, such as dual overhead cams, where you can get an ideal spark plug placement at the very top center of the combustion chamber, is more efficient than wires, as the length of the wire determines the amount of resistance from the voltage coming from the coil. All right, ignition coils from the factory are generally 35,000 to 40,000 volts. All right, ohms of resistance can vary between manufacturers. The original equipment manufacturer for the 2015 Malibu is Denso, and they do make a really good product. All right, you will notice I have disconnected the batteries. The reason for that is these coils are direct current, just like the battery is. If the battery is hot, these coils are hot. That voltage can arc. All right, so it's a safety issue to leave the battery connected. All right. These are the factory AC Delco spark plugs. All right, as you can see, this is cylinder number 1. It's got a nice pancake brown on the electrode, indicating that the air-fuel ratios are mostly correct, if not perfect. Around 14.7 parts air, 1 part fuel. All right. These spark plugs are going to be replaced with E3 diamond fire. All right, if I can get the... Notice the size of the electrode. All right, what this spark plug does, when the spark fires on a stock plug, it fires, come on camera, there we go, straight down to the electrode from the iridium tip. All right, with the E3 diamond fire, these spark plugs spread out in a V shape among the 3 electrodes. So it gives you a wider spark. These coils work beautiful, or these plugs work beautifully with high volt energy coils, 45, 50,000 with low resistance. MSD does make a blaster set of coils that is available for the Chevrolet Malibus with 2.5 liter naturally aspirated engine. K&N also makes an intake kit. I'm going to do a video on that. The reason I'm going with an ignition system upgrade is automakers design the ignition systems to be adequate and economical. All right, you will not gain any horsepower by upgrading your ignition system. What you will do is you will improve the engine's thermal efficiency. You'll actually regain power that is lost from the ignition system not being adequate enough to properly burn all the fuel on each combustion stroke. This engine has a static compression ratio of 11.3 to 1, all right, which means it needs high energy coils and a heavy duty ignition system to properly run with optimal efficiency and performance. These plugs retail for $6.99 a piece, so it's not too expensive to tune up. The coils, that's a whole nother story. The stock replacement coils and high performance coils are both around $70, $80, $100, $110 a piece, depending on which manufacturer you get and which type of coil. All right. Now you can see spark plug from cylinder number 2. If I can get the camera to zoom, there it goes. Nice and brown. Spark plug from cylinder number 3. Come on, camera, there we go. Nice and brown. All right, spark plug from cylinder number 4. Wait, come on, camera. There we go, nice and brown. Now, when you're replacing spark plugs with an aftermarket, you have to pay attention to the reach, all right? The spark plug's reach is how far it goes down into the combustion chamber, all right? If you change the reach of your spark plugs, you will dynamically change the operation of your engine. You could get worse fuel economy or better, depending on, you know, what your vehicle runs like and how it's tuned, or you could increase your emissions or reduce them. So it's a best bet to always go with a plug with the same reach, unless you really know what you're doing and you've blueprinted your engine and you've done dynos and you're like a hardcore racer. All right. Anytime you're replacing spark plugs, you always make sure the engine is cold, and you do not pull spark plugs out of a hot engine. Now, since the spark plugs have steel threads and we have an aluminum cylinder head, you're going to want a small dab, all right, of anti-seize on each set of threads on the plugs. You don't need much, just a little bit. All right, just enough so when you thread the spark plug into the hole, it will hit all the threads and prevent the spark plug from seizing in the cylinder head or stripping. Now, oh shit, I got it in my hands. I'm about to turn into this, turn into the Tin Man. Anti-seize on my hands. Shit. Hang on, I gotta grab dielectric boot grease too. That's the only thing I forgot. Get this anti-seize off. Alright, dielectric boot grease. Okay, it seems I'm out of dielectric boot grease. Thankfully, these coils came off easily. As a general rule of thumb, you want dielectric boot grease on your spark plug boots to prevent the boot from seizing on the spark plug from heat. Double check the trunk of the car real quick. There it is. Ah, here we go. I do still have some Permatex. All right, what this boot grease is designed for, this is a silicone lubricant that will seal the spark plug boot, prevent it from seizing on the spark plug from heat and cooling, and it will prevent moisture from getting in and wearing out the boots and the coils sooner. Now, when you go to put that on, coil here. All right, you want to put it inside the coil. You only need a little bit. I'm not going to probably be able to angle my camera to record this. Put some in there. All right, let's see if I can get the camera to zoom in. Okay, as you can see, you don't need much. All right, that just extends the life of the coils. Now, when inserting the spark plug, make sure you have a spark plug socket. The way to tell a spark plug socket, come on camera, will have a rubber insert that fits around the neck of the spark plug, helps remove it and install it. So you put the spark plug in like that. Now when you go to insert it into the cylinder head, you want to make sure to get the threads with your fingers first. Now the reason for that is, like I said, steel spark plug, aluminum cylinder head. You cross thread it, well, have fun digging about 7 or 8 inches down into your cylinder head to recut the threads. All right, now we can see it's threaded in there safely. Make a note about spark plugs. They do not necessarily need to be torqued down real heavy. Once again, your steel spark plug will cut into your cylinder head, and if you torque it over too much, you will strip threads out of the head.
You've got mail.
Okay, now once it tightens up, you only got to go about maybe 1/10 to 1/8 of a turn, and it'll be in there nice and secure. Okay, grab your spark plug boot and coil assembly with the dielectric grease. Gotta make sure they don't pop on anymore, they just fit snugly. All right, make sure to plug in your wiring harness. And on the Malibu and most engines that have these style coils, you will have a single bolt that hold them in place. All right, that's a 10mm bolt. Once again, you don't have to torque the bolt down a whole lot, just so all it does is hold the coil from vibrating. Okay, and then I got 3 more to do. Process is identical as the number 1 cylinder. For those that are curious on how to number the cylinders, the cylinder closest to the harmonic balancer is always number 1. Number 2, number 3, number 4. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to drop a line in the comments section for me. And as always,